what's happening, but it said you're live. So, and I have a bunch of, I feel like things are really going good. They're going good for me. And that is why I said like the splitting of realities, because then I was talking to somebody else and they are totally stressed. They're having a bunch of stress and stuff. And something happened to me today that I was like, oh my gosh, this is so, oh my gosh, I feel so excited. I can't even believe it. And, like if you watch me regularly, then, you know about that I was getting something the other day and I wasn't sure what was going to happen about it because it usually takes about a week and a half or 2 weeks. And it's usually this big process. And then it was already hand delivered. I was like, "What?" And, there's stuff changing again on the debt calculator, and everybody's gas is jacking up now because, they can't buy any more oil. And then, of course, because Joe is, he's the bumbling fool to take down the country, that he, did something else with our resource gas or something, like our resource oil. He sold it real quick or something. And now none of the other countries will sell to us because the dollar has no value. And they've even got like, I saw a parade. It was China, Russia, and Mexico have got a freedom parade going. And they're all coming together in freedom. That's the thing is people don't really get. It's just talking to my mom. And that's the thing, how religion has really jacked people's perspective, man. So crazy. Because talking about the thing that I'm talking about, and, throughout this whole thing, I have been telling people, stop paying this, stop paying that, focus on the future, start preparing for what's to come. And nobody can see it. Nobody, everything's I'm totally whacked out. And so nobody has been, everybody's still, trying to hold on to this old world, hold on to those credit scores. Well, I got to pay this. Where am I going to go? And all that stuff. But you got to listen to yourself first off, it's just weird how often that I see my journey is very unique to the people around me. Like, I don't know about, when you're talking to people that you don't really know or anything, you've never met, but the people who are in your orbit, the people you come in contact with, your family members, your neighbors, and other people in your community, where we all feel like misfits. It's like, oh my God, am I the only person out here that sees what's going on? Am I the only one that understands? And they all just go about their business like it's a Sims game or something, and they just all play their part and talk about the weather and stuff, and it just is so uncomfortable when you wake up in it. And then, but well, on mine, I've been awake talking like this for such a while now, and uh, I just something that just came into my mind because I was having a conversation with my daughter yesterday about something that was going on, and I said something about me talking about this or something, and you thought I was crazy or something. And she said, "Well, you were saying way more." I was like, "Yeah, I was saying a lot of stuff that sounded crazy, but that didn't mean it's not real. It still is real, but they can't see it. They can't see it." But the one daughter that I'm talking about right there, she's really seeing through the BS and the whole thing with working. And she was such a type A go getter, graduated from college and was working up. She always has ever since she started her first job, like Orange Julius or something. She's manager and she's like 16. She's always been that like really responsible kind of kid. And so, now she's seeing through, like it's some bullshit. But and I know that my mom has and I know I said some things in this conversation today that had to hit. I know that, but when I hear them in my head, it still is like, I got to still say them. It's the truth. And I'm not saying it in a mean way and I'm not trying to be mean, but I will still speak my truth. And people who are Christian or religious, and something that just keeps standing out to me and standing out to me lately is this whole thing about religion, how they decided that was the only way to God. If you didn't go through religion and Christianity at the forefront, then you were not uh, worshiping God. It wasn't, there was the only one God, and it was the God that they were telling you about. And all the people that bought into that. And so, and that just weirds me out. I used to ask questions about that and stuff. But what about the people, the Buddhists? What about the people in the Middle East and stuff? What about their religions and stuff? They don't have the same ones. Well, I know it's sad because they're all going to go to hell. Like, what? So this God creator that you worship, he creates all this stuff, but then he wants to just destroy it. Like, I don't understand this thought process, and but through this stuff, I've had a completely different attitude than other people, and the things I talk about and the things I see, especially when I talk to like my mom. It's all about this rapture, the tribulation. No, no, it's going to be so much worse. No, I'm going to be leaving soon. Like, this is just getting the warm up. Things are about to get way worse. And I try and tell her spiritual side, like the energetic, the cosmic, the side that we can't do anything about, the yin and the yang. And, she just turns it off. She just won't listen because her mind is formulated around this religion. And, but one of the things I had said, because, when I'm making these plans, for the future and stuff, I say, well, I go with my gut. I go with my spirit, what my spirit says. So even if my spirit says, well, don't pay your house payment, you need a plan for the future, go get this instead. And I go do that, and everybody's like, oh my God, you're so crazy. I'm like, yeah, but I'm listening to what my spirit is telling me. And and I got to trust that. And even if things go, different than what I think it's going to trust that. And it's all about this learning to trust. And it's funny how they have that as like a little thing, trust the plan. And it really is, though, about trust your plan. Your plan, your soul's plan. Your soul made a plan. Your soul came here for your plan. And so your soul is here taking care of your plan. And so it, so when I was, like I gotta listen to myself. And so, in everything that they direct me to see and how, all of that stuff, they bring me certain information and how they want me to see things. And it's not what anybody else sees. And then when I talk about it, everything's like, well, you're so crazy. You're so crazy. But so I've been planning for the future. And, my rest of my family just thinks I'm just completely crazy. You should be planning on your credit score. You should be making sure you get your stuff paid on time and stuff. It's like, yep, that's not our future. That is collapsing. Oh, okay. Well, you lost me there, as that's the only way the world runs. And so, anyways, then but in this conversation with my mom, and I said, well, I go with trusting my gut, my spirit. I listen to my spirit because she's talking about that she is too fearful. She can't not pay a bill and then go plan for her future and go buy something that is going to help her, that especially something that they keep trying to put it out there to tell us to do it. And right now, I can see that they are giving it's just like this big mulligan or something, and they're giving everybody this big chance because I'm telling you, the gold and silver place knows the dollar has no value. The petrol, everybody knows the dollar has no value. Any place that's doing the trading, no, it's already out there. I mean, they got marches of freedom because of they're going on the gold standard and stuff, and we're be free from resources, all this bullshit that they have put us through, debt and taxation and all of that stuff, and so that is the freedom. That is the, going the full circle, the yin to the yang, the light to the dark to the light, all that. And, but the religion, it totally messes up their mind. And then she said, well, I go by what the Bible says. In the Bible, so she doesn't listen to her heart or her gut or anything. This is what I have said and said and said. There's so many people who think that they are close to God because they call themselves Christians or Catholics or whatever, but they don't go, you got to be close to God inside. You can't just say it. You have to live it. You have to you have to live it. And God does not want you in fear. You got to go in and, communicate with them. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm in fear. I mean, they'll push you to get over that fear. They'll push you through it. Yeah, you're gonna have to go some things that are fucking scary. Like like the whole house. Like there's a lot. There's a lot of things that have been scary to stop paying my credit cards and shit like that. Because that was 3 years. And I'm lucky, that I've had people who have helped me through because it was I still had to get a car. My car broke and I still had to get a car. So I had to rely on my mom's credit. And then there's a lot of uh, uh, things that I've had to rely on my daughter's credit and stuff where, I jacked mine and I'm still living in this 3D world. And luckily, I have good relationships with people who still are very three-dimensional. That's a good reason why, too, to not get in fights with them. Not to use them or whatever, but we're in two different worlds. And when you're trying to step out of one and they are keep having you, like you're still in the two worlds. So, I got to use the benefit that's around me. So I have used credit and use somebody else's. So, I mean, you got to follow your own thing. Like if you have nothing and nobody to rely on and you don't want to live in the streets and you're scared of living in tents and all that stuff, your lessons are different. I know what my lessons are, but it has been about trusting stuff. But when she said that she listens, she makes her decisions off the Bible, and everything happening right now is in the Bible, and it's all happening. But she's not scared of anything. But she's positive that she's going to be raptured. See, and that's what I'm like. Part of the people who are going to stay. I don't know how many people are actually going to be leaving over these, whatever is going to go down. Um, but the people who are going to stay, that is going to be part of their lesson. Like, and I can't get through to her. I can't get her to say something. But I know that had to trigger her because there was like a moment of silence. And then there was a few other things that I had said because that was more of like, it's like I talk to God about. I don't go Bible. I don't pay attention to what's happening in the three-dimensional world about it. I go and you know, sit with I think it just sounds so crazy for people who don't do it. And I don't know how to not do it. It's just been my whole life. It's been my whole way of existing. And that is a part of this truth thing. Because I was seeing that in the conversation. It was just like it was this truth. Like, man, I mean, I've really been planning for this and I've really been taking action. I was like, I used to think I was such a bad gambler, but now I'm like, man, I think I'm a pretty good one. And I think I've made some good choices that are going to really change my future. Like, and I think everybody's going to have this, abundancy, but it still is going to be. I don't know what the control will be, but I don't think they're just going to load everybody up, $1 billion in their account and say good luck. I think it's a good luck and good life at the same time. It's a good, whatever, however I said it, but those two words merged. It was a mashup. But so, anyways, if I don't think they're going to do that. And then plus there's going to be so many people who because they're not prepared and it's just going to hit them upside the head. But I've been talking about this with people, like with my mom and stuff, and there's so much of this stuff. Like I have to still, remind her that Joe's not real and stuff. Like she'll get really upset about some of this stuff. And then she'll just be like, well, I just don't, like, she just doesn't trust the thing. But your spirit would be telling you, but I don't know, you know. I just know if you're not going to your spirit and you're going to the Bible, you're running to church, you're having your preacher tell you what's going on, and you're hyper focused on the disasters, because I think that a lot of that is a setup. Revelations was even added in, apparently, when you go in and listen to all these people who are trying to whistle blow on the Bible and who wrote it and when it was written and all this stuff. Apparently, Revelations was added in later. Like they could have fucking looked through Looking Glass and saw what storms were going to be coming and what things were going to happen and the Euphrates was going to dry up and all that stuff. They could have seen that, like, and then wrote it in a book. Like, I mean, it literally has always freaked me out. And I have said this argument so many times when I was younger. Like, like what if like Treasure Island and they said, oh, this is our Bible, like, do you just follow any book that they tell you is the one and only truth? It's our history, it's our truth, it's everything that you should spend your whole entire life worshiping. And then in this big time of change, when it is all this spiritual stuff, they're not going towards their spirit, they're going towards the church, towards the religion. There's the problem. It's not going into themselves. They're going into another thing, but you can't get them to see it. But that's why I keep saying that this is going to be a big smack for the religious people, because they're so programmed into that belief system. Like it is so weird, because like I'll think about something that somebody like could be telling me or whatever, and then I won't see what they're saying. But then something else, you'll see something else will happen, and something else. And then all of a sudden you see it. And you can see it so clearly. And then when you pay attention, you can look back at yourself and see, like, why wasn't I seeing it? How was I not seeing it? I think there's a whole point of we're not supposed to see things till we see them, because everything's destiny. If you were going to see it then, you wouldn't have to see it later. So all the things have to line up the way they line up. The dominoes all have to go. It's just while we're living it, we just it's like an uncomfortable thing to be living the story as it's playing. But it's different when you look back and you can see the purpose and the meaning of certain things. But then when you look towards the future, then it can be scary, or it can be overwhelming. And like right now, they're messing so much with people's minds over the future. It's like they want them to all not believe in the future, not, and we're going into such a great time, the age of Aquarius. We're going into this really fantastic time, but it is there's so much release of this dependency on this formatted reality, through religion, through this governing forces, through all of the things. It's like you're birthed in, and they put the viewmaster on you, what they want you to see. And so it's man, we were sleeping all, like I went back to, I am having a weird morning. But when that mail truck came out and they were out there honking, I was like, weird, what the fuck? And then I saw her big box of her dog food sitting out there, but that's FedEx, and they just set it on the other side of the gate. Like, anybody can just come and take it if I didn't see it. It's like, dude, the other guys used to set it over. But the mail lady was just standing down there, and I just know there's something with this postmaster thing too, I swear to God. But so she was just standing down there in the giant, big old white truck, and she was standing there and standing there, and I see out the window. I'm like, well, why wouldn't she just set it down? Like, what the hell is she doing? So I stood there for a second, and then she walked over to her thing and started honking her horn. So it was like, Stella, as soon as the horn started honking, she's fucking, let's go. So I get my slippers and go walking down there, and she's all friendly and nice. I had no idea what she was going to be giving me. I have not had anything hand delivered like that. And for it to be within 48 hours, and it was something that got something that had no value for something, I swear to God, there is a group. You can call them the white hats, call them whatever you want to call them. But there is a group of people that are out there trying to give us an opportunity, like it, so that you don't have to be in fear and stuff. So, because this is all happening. I mean, it's happening. I sat there and told my mom, and she's like, well, I know it's going to happen sometime, but I'm just too scared. I can't just not pay something and go get silver, or go buy something or do something like that. I'm way too scared of doing something like that. And well, I, have different guidance, and it's about getting over fear. And but whatever her argument and stuff, is just it's a way of getting people to think. It is, kind of the concern. It's just those, it's like a victim kind of mentality just through religion. Like you're a rotten piece of shit. Uh, but all is forgiven. Is this holy man who created you will forgive everything, even though he created you in his thing, in his image, but then you're a rotten piece of shit sinner. And if you don't say his name, then you will go straight down to hell and burn forever. And if you're born and you do good works your whole life, but you don't know your Lord and Savior, then you still go to hell and burn forever for the. It's like, what in the world do you go to Sundays and worship about this shit? Like, that is mental to me. And I know I went off on something that I was going to say something else, but then I forgot what I was going to say. So let's see. Amy, 23. Does your mom believe someone is coming to save her? Yes. She believes that Jesus is coming. The redemption is near, or whatever it's called, the rapture. She thinks she's about to be raptured. Greetings, Wilson from Washington. Hey, Joyce. Was it, I'm horrible but wasn't I just saying about like meeting for coffee or something? I was thinking, because I was seeing some videos and stuff where people are seeing the gas is going up, and there's going to be that whole thing. Like, I don't know how long it's going to drag out. I really hope it's going to be this weekend. Like, I really feel like it has to be close. Like, I just am blown away. Like, I would say it just has to be so close. And so, then, I don't, if they put it right on the quantum thing and they do like what that Republic newspaper thing was saying, then it should be, going to those redemption centers and all that stuff. So it shouldn't be that it drags out where we don't have gas and we don't have all that stuff. But, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. But if we have to go through a period of time, I've only got one tank of gas. And they still haven't given me that money back at the bank. I still got to call them about that. But I was like, fuck. I mean, may as well just wait and see if the banks go down today. And if they don't, then call on Monday and ask for it again. Because then maybe that will be a little bit more like, come on, girl. Like, you just take money out of my account and then you just think, oh, okay, well, you just got to wait. It's not our fault. Well, I think it is. And, I forgot what I was saying again. I'm tired. I really feel out of it. But oh yeah, about the gas. So I don't want to, because just to get to Bellingham, even if, because to go to Everett, that would be like an hour and a half. To get there and back, it would be, I don't know, almost a tank of gas. I bet a half or over a half a tank of gas. And so, anyways, I just want to wait it out a little. But then, yeah, we should totally meet for coffee somewhere because there's all sorts of cute little places. That would be fun. And then chat. Then you can actually meet somebody. Crazy that the people won't trust their internal cut. Yeah, yeah. See, my mom is always sitting there like, "Hey, Amy." My mom is always sitting there like talking about fear. She's scared of this. She's scared of that. It's like, Mom, that doesn't go together. You shouldn't feel fear if you're close to, there should be nothing that you're fearing. Uh, but, I said, well, I was making choices through this. Like, I reduced my consumption. Like, I wasn't going out to restaurants all the time. Everybody's still been going to restaurants, going to all sorts of shit. I changed, a lot of that stuff. I went on trips to see family. So I've gone on some trips and I've gone to some thrift store shopping sprees. So I haven't been like fucking all perfect or something and not spent any money except for planning for the future. But I still feel like I have a good, good plan for the future. Like, I don't feel scared at all. Even if they came in and took this house, and I would feel like, okay, well, it's going to probably go in a storm. So they want to get me to somewhere safer. So, I, just make the plan of what's next. And I was looking at that map already. So I know one thing, I mean, my kids want me to be down there by them and by the grandkids. So I definitely should get a little spot down there. So when I go visit them, but I'm not going to, just stay there all the time. And, that's not my grandma life that I want to go and travel and stuff. But I also want to have my own place to stay when I go to visit them. It gets old sleeping on couches and shit. So I want to go, and then plus if I go and get property, and I swear to God, I think it's gonna be oceanfront property over there. If you look at the maps, and I feel like even that, I feel like there's a lot of things that we overlook that are kind of like signs. Like we have signs and signs all around us. Like, but people don't pay attention to them. Just like what I was saying, like there's certain things we just don't pay attention. So they're not supposed to know it yet, or they would already know it. It's a part of their impact, a part of what they're gonna, go through with their learning and stuff. There's so much though about like a dependency, this mind dependency, because that religion is not freedom. I mean, it's fear. It's all based on fear. They're all scared they're going to burn in hell. Like, how the hell do you go and sit and worship somebody who says, worship me or you're going to burn in hell for eternity? Not just for an hour, not just for the day. No, for eternity, for the rest of the eternity. You're going to be burning in hell with demons trying to eat you and stuff, with all the other bad people who were really good people, but they didn't say Jesus' name or whatever the hell the secret password is. And so then, I don't know. The whole thing is just, to me, fear, 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 fear. Even with all of this stuff with the awakening, how the religion was rushing in there and getting people and getting them all to run down and go get baptized. You want to get baptized, that's all fine and dandy, but you don't do it off fear. Because all of a sudden you fear, like, well, I don't want to go to burn in hell forever if God's real and it's the end of the world. And the whole thing too is like it's gonna feel like the end of the world if your whole world is this 3D world. If this whole world is what you believe the world is. Like if you can't see anything more, and that is what fucking gets me, is that people who claim to be spiritual, people who claim to be religious, people who claim to be focused on their spiritual aspect of living, because religion, that's what it should be. I mean, that's what it was, all the claim. All the people who were out there saying they're Christians, they're Catholics, or, they're saying that they're the ones close to God. They're the ones living God's plan. The rest of us devil worshiping pieces of shit, we can just take our devil talk and go away because we don't have a clue what's going on. Why they are all, the supreme. And it is, but then you talk to them through this stuff and they're all fearful, like that one that lived by me. And she wanted me to go into that fucking food unity or whatever it was. What was it that she called it? A food alliance, like this food alliance, because I would buy my eggs from her. And then during the summer, she had this big old garden and she would sell boxes of vegetables for like 20 bucks. So that's where I started meeting her. And we were like the same age. We had some things that were in common and stuff. And see, she's religious and I'm spiritual, but I was seeing so many, like, so many things. I was like, what in the hell? Like, religious people are kind of angry, scared people, and and judgmental as fuck. And so we started going and hanging out. Go get a beer, go down and get appetizers or something, go have a lunch, and we're becoming friendly and stuff. And one of the days I said, well, do you have any eggs? I need to get eggs. And it was after all of this stuff threatening last year. This was when all the food stuff. And she had a little farm. And so she had already gotten the letter that the government was going to be taking property. And her husband had all of these things. And she was against them. And, she's a lot of turmoil. And she was always and scared, and she would sit all day long with her Bible highlighting. I don't know. Sometimes do they got to get a new Bible? Do they ever highlight everything and there's nothing left? How do you sit there all day long listening to preachers talk, highlighting the Bible, and not think you're being mind controlled? Like, what the fuck? But so when the shit start going down, I just start being more fear, fear, fear. And I keep seeing that with my mom too. It's like, why are you getting more in fear? And I just saw this guy video yesterday, and he was a religious guy. And he said, He's all scared. He's sitting there, kind of like a scene like this. And he's like, well, you guys, I'm called the ambulance. The ambulance is on its way. He's like about to break down. And he's like, I'm so scared right now. I think something's wrong with my heart. I don't know what's happening, but they're on their way. And I don't know if this is the day I'm going to meet my father. But, I'm not going to have fear. But he was fucking panicking. Why in the hell? Like, aren't they going, hell yeah? I'll see you guys next time. Like, it's not like, they don't feel peace about it. They feel fear about it. I mean, that's why they got to read the Bible, like looking for something to give them peace. It's like, find peace, find peace. It's like, you got to go in and start speaking to your soul and you'll find peace. Start looking into spiritual stuff that's not controlled by, like, it's all different people's opinions, all different people's experiences, I mean, there's so many different things. There's channelers, there's prophets, which is basically like the same thing. But there's just so much out there. The mysticism, the whole thing with, quantum and stuff all goes with spiritual. Like, they were trying to take that for science, but it's all about spiritual, this energy and stuff. So, but anyways, and then so when last year when they started burning down all the places and all that stuff, and then she told me, well, no, she wasn't selling any more eggs. No, they're not selling shit. They're going, fucking, they're sticking to their stuff. Everybody else is on their own. Fuck off, everybody. And so I was like, okay, I'm not worried about it. I'm cool. I'm not gonna panic. I'm not gonna freak out. Like, I fucking know we don't even fucking need to eat. We don't fucking have to eat. It's all in our fucking minds. And so I was like, okay, fine. And I don't know if she had this guilt wave or something that came over her, because then all of a sudden, she gets all like on the down low and starts saying, well, if I want to go into a food alliance with them, but if I do that, then I have to be willing to let my neighbors, which are these little girls, I've talked about before, little tiny girls, and I have to be willing to watch them starve to death. I was like, what? What? Like, that somebody says something like that to you, you think this is gonna be a fucking joke. Are you fucking kidding me? And what in the hell kind of Christian shit is this? Like, did Jesus say, fuck you guys, this fish is mine? Like, what the fuck? And so I'm like, um, I don't know. I couldn't even fathom it further. And then she said that I would have to, if they come up to my doors crying because they haven't eaten because they aren't prepared, which I'm sure they're fucking not prepared. I mean, they're out there in the 3D world trying to make it. And they're running from thing to thing to thing all the time, hardly ever even fucking home. And so I said, well, I got my own food. I've got food that I've got. I've got rice and beans. I'm just share my own stuff. Like, I won't share your stuff. I won't tell them that you gave me some eggs or whatever, but I'll share my stuff. And uh, she was like, no, you can't do that. That is the Food Alliance. You can't, like, we're all these, as old people, we're going to hoard the food. We're going to hold on to this food. And those fucking youngins, fuck them, they can die. They should have had better parents. Their parents shouldn't have gone to work. Their parents should have just stayed home and, focused on the shit that you can focus on when you're retired. Because you have choices. You can focus on, obviously, listening to religious preachers the whole goddamn day long and tell you whatever the fuck is programming you. Or, you can be like me and just go out and look at all the conspiracy stuff all day long. Because you have time for it then. Then you find out it's not, because it's all real. This shit is really all fucking happening all the goddamn time. Yeah, I know it is. Program is fear. Program, I know, is, and that is what is the aggravation about religion to me, is that it is so much about fear-based, and it is so much about programming, and how much all the people that are programmed are all programmed to be in fear and to not trust. And it is all this creation of the dependency on these rich people. They want us to be dependent on them so that they can control us. And I don't know. it's just it's just strangest world. But the whole thing is it's ending. It's all ending. But it's so strange because you would think all these people who are so spirit or so religious, that this would well, I guess this is where they think it is their time because they all sit there, the rapture. We're about to be raptured. I think the other day they'd already, now they've skipped a date because I think on 9/19 they had it figured out there was going to be a rapture. I haven't said anything to my mom, but I saw some TikToks about it. And I don't know if they're just like skip the date, just pretend like nothing happened. It's kind of like those people who were all the say 5110 150, whatever the hell that whole thing was, about leaving the matrix on that certain day and stuff. And they were all doing that and they were all leaving the matrix that day together. And then they're still here. I still see their videos sometimes, but I don't know what their next plan is, if they're talking about what's next or whatever. I seems like to me that I'm seeing more spiritual people because there's the 3D spiritual people. It is kind of just a fake kind of 3D spirituality. It's like the same thing with like control, like, oh well, you gotta be vegan. Well, isn't that a coincidence? Yeah, you gotta be vegan. If you're really spiritual and you're connected to your spirit will tell you what it wants to eat, not the goddamn government telling you what you're gonna eat. Your body will tell you. And so that right there, to sit there and say to be spiritual, you have to be vegan. No, it's just a lot of people, when they become spiritual, then they become vegan because it's like a natural progression. But it isn't that you have to be vegan to be spiritual. But the people who become vegan, it's usually you start seeing things. You start seeing life different. You start seeing, animals as other sentient being, like everybody, yeah, like the plants. I guess plants apparently can watch us. They watch us. They can see. They have sensors. I just saw a thing and it was saying it was kind of creepy. Like we're DNA like really close to a cucumber or something. Or maybe it's a plant. I don't know. I may be mashing up a few different videos again. But there's something about the plants and their sensors and stuff like that that they can see, even if they can't make out and see us. But that guy who was doing those little those vibration sensors on the plants, he said they would react to things right before the things would happen. If you go look up about that study, it is really interesting because they get really upset over everything. This guy was kind of brutal too because he would like even kill a bug, and the plants would all start screaming a minute before before he killed the bug. If he pulled a leaf off of a plant or something, all the plants would start screaming. It's really trippy. It's a trippy study. God, these glasses they're just super, super dirty. I don't ever wear them because I'm trying to, because glasses are to make our eyes worse. They're to make our eyes kind of more dependent. And so I've been trying since I started having so many issues with my eyes, and every fucking thing that they did to it, all they did was make it worse. But I saw a video the other day where a guy was saying that the LASIK surgery is so dangerous. If people knew, that they would not be getting it. So I feel fortunate, I even have fucking eyeballs. Let's see, where are we? Independent blue thinkers, yeah. And it's so crazy how it is, they don't want us to be independent thinkers. So people who have independent thinking is ever shamed, like you are, something's wrong with you if you believe in yourself, if you believe that you are the God you seek. But the whole thing is they put so much weight on this God thing. It's like y'all are putting way too much onto this God character. It's like you got to see you're the God. You're the one who's the creator of your reality. You're the one who it's all us. And you get that stuff just going and studying about reincarnation. You start understanding about, oh, I'm coming in and doing this. It's me coming in, and it's not sitting up there. You're just kicking back in your fucking recliner in heaven, and they come and just drag you down and throw you into an incarnation and say you have to go. No, we do it. We choose it. We go in with our friends, and our friends, and the people who we come in here and fight with are our friends. They aren't people that we hate. They're people that we love. They push our buttons. They make us mad. They make us face things so that we can heal, so we can grow. So it's for better for us. But, in the 3D reality world where we come in here in this, in the 3D spirituality, I don't even know what the hell it's all based on. I know it's vegan, that's a big thing. But there is a lot of people who are starting to more wake up, I think, to, what this is really all about, getting in touch with your spirit, to your core, and then healing the stuff where you are holding yourself back, where you're not representing yourself and not being true to yourself. And then plus not stressing out because when you see this world is a spirit, you're in a spiritual experience, and it isn't, your spirit is here to have this experience. And then if you're just sitting there in fear of everything, you're missing out on so much of the experience. And it is kind of, to me, the way I look at it more is like, your soul paid for a really cool vacation, and then you're blowing it all because you're sitting in your room crying over something. It's like you got to get out and enjoy the experience life. Don't be scared of it. But religion, all these things, like I got her and me and that woman, we haven't talked anymore. She did message me, like, I don't know, there was a little space in time because I was weirded out. Like, who thinks of that? Like, I cannot watch someone starve. If you fucking think I'm gonna watch someone starve, I would feed Stella before I feed myself. I'm gonna watch some little kids starve so I can stay here and like, what? I'm not scared of living here, living here, leaving here. I'm not scared of what's to come, where we go after this. I'm not scared of that. I know it's better. It's like waking up from a dream. It's like, even when you wake up from a dream. Except for that lady who was in the coma, she was in a way better dream than the reality she woke up to. But, this is when you leave it, it's like when your body ceases to be functioning, which I'm really beside myself. Like, if you didn't watch the thing I was talking about this morning, I'm so beside myself about that whole thing. I am just so disgusted. I swear to God. Um, let's see, where am I back here? Dude, what is happening? You guys are saying nonsense. Oh, Andrew. Kill us, Andrew. Yeah, who wants you here, Andrew? Jennifer. Andrew must be one of those bot people. It's so funny how they're like bought because they're bought, BOUGHT. They've sold their souls to, especially at a time where humanity is changing. And some of the stuff that they do on TikTok, these bot people come in and try and ridicule people and put people down and start fights with people and stuff. And sometimes they'll say something and I won't know that they're a bot person at first, and I'll say something back. And I think some of them are looking for the light. Like, I don't know how many of them are just so MK Ultra that they just don't have a fucking clue what the hell is going on. Yeah, hopefully. I think the people who are around here, there's only one God. There's no reincarnation. Oh, Andrew, please. Poor Andrew. Poor Andrew. I have the right to say what I want. Don't hate, dude. You say what you want, Andrew. You're just in the wrong group to get support here. We don't think like you do. If you want to find a group that thinks like you probably need to keep on scrolling. Yeah, reincarnation. Reincarnation is totally real. Like, anybody who thinks reincarnation isn't real, go study it and then see how you feel about it. That's the same thing that people say about like religion. Go study the Bible and see how you feel about it. I never studied the Bible, but I don't feel it. But I can't tell other people what to feel. Everybody's got to feel what they feel. Am I putting who down? Am I just saying I don't believe what you're saying? Yeah, Andrew, why are you coming into a group? It's like you're coming in and trying to throw stones in a place. Like, why? Why would you put your energy out like that? Why would you spend your time doing that? I'm always confused by that. When people go into a place where they're trying to cause problems or just argue, like they just want to argue with people, like trying to start an argument. Like, what? I don't get the motivation. That's what I wonder about all the time. I look outside and listen to people and animals every morning. It is different. Trying hard things are not the same. God, it's so different. And I have been seeing people. I saw a guy, this is funny too. This guy, I don't know what his regular shtick is. Like, I don't know what his thing is. I just saw one of his videos, and this video caught my eye. It seems like I've seen him before because there's so many people, and they all have these like. It's really unique how a lot of creators are coming up with their own little shtick or something. So this guy, he talks, but he doesn't. He'll just sit there on the video, like looking at you. So it's like a voiceover of him talking, and so it's really kind of cool. But anyway, so he was out looking at the moon, and he's always out looking at the moon. He's always out looking at the moon. But in he was looking at it last night, and it suddenly turned off while he was looking at it. It just turned off. The moon was still there, but it just turned off. And he is totally freaked. I mean, he is freaked the fuck out. He is like, what in the hell is going on? What in the world is happening? I'm not crazy. Like, he was totally freaking out. And I said, don't freak out. You're not crazy. It's a fake reality. It's a Truman Show. And so he did a response to that, but he didn't say anything to me. He just used my question to just say another, like this. He just would have to see his videos. It's crazy how these people come up with all these different things. Everybody is such characters, It's really cool. But he was so freaked out about the moon thing, and I've seen other people freaking out about it and thinking like the things they're seeing that they must be going crazy and stuff like that. But all this stuff really is changing. I started noticing. I'm telling you, it was trippy. When I started noticing it, everything started looking like a three-dimensional picture. And I started telling people it was weird. Like I go out and ride my bike and I feel like I'm riding like on a postcard or something. And I try and tell people, and I would say the sky, look at the sky, and everybody would be like, nothing's wrong with that. I say, but look at where the sun is. That doesn't make sense. And people would be just like I was like they wouldn't even like I could just be talking and nobody would even be listening or something. They would just be like, yeah, that's weird. And then just, it was so weird. It was really weird. I totally get where these people feel so confused about the stuff going on, but that stuff is all real. Like, I swear to God, it's just, our sky is like a fucking Truman Show. I think all that shit is fake as fuck. Dudes are welcome. Yeah. I mean, there's me 23 is a guy. Andrew may be a party pooper, or he is not himself tonight. Off topic, are you related to Kevin Hart? Yeah, can't you tell? Why? Because we share a name. Don't you think we should share something that kind of looks similar, like maybe the color of us? I don't know. Maybe that's silly, but it seems like that would be more of, like, I would think. Because there's some other Harts. There's a skateboarder. I have seen Kelly Hart. Fake reality. Indeed, it is a fake reality. A simulation, and it's trippy now because even what's his name? Infowar guys on that Joe Rogan thing was talking and showing all the studies that these scientists have put out where they have figured out over something where they were looking at like the grid and stuff, and they started seeing that we are in a simulation. Like they could tell that we're in a simulation by it. So like you'd have to go watch the video, and I didn't see the whole thing, but I mean, they're starting to put the information out there and see. And and who was it? Was it Alex Jones too? that I had seen say it, but it was somebody else saying it. Like, I think it is way more fantastic. Like what we're able to be in this projection where we can come in and feel things and experience things. The only thing, that we gotta wake up from this one is that we're being controlled in this one. But due to all of what we've experienced, we get this great big giant, celebration afterwards where we get a big old payout. It's like we all win. Everybody wins in the end. But then when you have all these people who think it's the end, I mean, you got people who they just want to be raptured. They just want out. And it's like, but mom, doesn't it say it will be heaven on earth? It's going to be the living and the dead walking. I don't know what has got their brains but so many people are fearing what is to come, where we're headed and stuff, and think it's the end, and they're so scared. It's like it's like resetting the stage, resetting the landscape, and then we get a whole bunch of new experiences. And this whole time of getting this opportunity to release who you were, release this old these paradigms, is all the things that held us and bound us to this reality. Because everybody does make a fake person for themselves to exist here. You do create an avatar. That's what's so weird, is how many people create their avatar, then they don't like this one. So then they go onto the TV to create one that they really like instead of just working on themselves. It's like you're just avatar jumping now. You're putting all your energy into this new one because people do put all their energy into their new avatar. I wonder how much people really are spending time on that metaverse and shit. Like if it is, people are just spending tons of time there, especially all the people who aren't working and whatnot. I for sure think it's a simulation. Am I going to go? I just don't. Am go You're going to go. I just don't believe this stuff. Sorry. Well, maybe you were sent here. Maybe the universe brought you here so you can see that maybe you should start believing in some of this stuff. Maybe you're holding yourself back. Why do you hold yourself back from possibilities? What makes you so sure what you believe is what's right? How do you know there's just not an endless amount of things that are right, Andrew? Why are you so stuck? Why you think we absolutely have to be wrong and you have to be right? Maybe there can be a lot of people who are right. I don't know what you believe, but you should at least go look into things that you don't believe into to get a full picture before you make your decision about stuff. Yeah, and I think Andrew was sent here. Andrew was brought to this conversation because probably his guides are trying to speak to him. Maybe a little grandparent or somebody has passed recently, trying to guide you to get you to focus on something that's real, not because there's a lot of stuff in this artificial world that they want to get you to focus on, so you don't focus on what's real. When you focus on what's real, the part of you that's real, the part of you that's really alive, is your soul, your energy. When you start focusing on your soul and your energy and you start trying to understand what it's doing here, if you communicate with it, it will tell you what it's doing here. And then you have guides that will talk to you and tell you what you're doing here. There's a whole thing happening that you cut yourself off from because you don't believe it's going on, so you don't even believe it exists. And then you open yourself to, if it is these Elohim or whatever the hell, the dark parasitic energies that attach to us to guide us into failure, to keep us frustrated so that they can exist. I just know that there is that dark energy. If you're not focused on the light energy, if you're not actively working on yourself, you bet your ass you got a lot of dark energy in your ear. Because that is, yeah, Andrew, you gotta open your mind, Andrew. What's gaslighting? Who's gaslighting you? We're talking our truth. That's not gaslighting. Yeah, I'm trying to help you, Andrew. How old are you, Andrew? I'm curious. Is and what is your background? Like, are you, because you think there's no reincarnation, that there's one life, Like, and there's just God, and God's like up in the sky. So, as far as you're concerned, God's wrath is going to come down on those of us who are blasphemy against, that we don't claim him as our God, our Savior, especially if we claim ourselves. That is like, oh, you're 16? Oh, Andrew. Oh my God, you are so cute. That is adorable. You're only 16 years old and you're out here talking to a bunch of ladies on the internet about God. You took away your age? Are you really 61? Are you really even Andrew? I mean, for all we know, you could be anybody. Mel's all, no way, Andrew. Yeah, I'm curious. Is Andrew even, I mean, you put your name out there, but a lot of people who put their names out there, they have a hidden identity, Andrew. We don't know. You could be catfishing us. You think we're gaslighting you and you're catfishing us. We're trying to help you. We're trying to help you find your spirit. Yeah, if he's 16, that explains the spelling errors. Well, you know what the education system is like nowadays. Yeah, I'm not laughing at you, Andrew. I'm proud of you to be out here, because you do gotta listen to your spirit. Your spirit is probably trying to tell you that there's more going on than what you're being fed. Because they feed you a story, they feed you a line, and you're so much bigger. There's so much more going on than what they tell you. They want to keep you trapped because they want to keep you controlled because they want to use your energy. That energy, I just saw this really cool little, like, creepy ass dystopian short film thing. And all of the faces have these really creepy masks with these really creepy smiles. And it's all this way to, come here and you can be distracted with porn. You can be distracted with all these different things. They'll just keep you um, focused on this stuff. I don't remember what I was going to say about it now. But it was very creepy. Whatever it was creepy. And it is what they do. It is like a clown world where they do want to just keep you distracted and keep you tricked. Oh, yeah, because that was the thing, the energy. Because it said that that's what they want. They want your energy. They want the part of you that you don't even know is there because you're so focused on those other things like porn or whatever. The things that they get people to focus on, drugs and stuff. Ooh, oh, and there was a sicko one, I guess, some synthetic drug that is out, and a guy just got arrested because he took it, and then he went and ate a dog. I guess the dog was alive, and he just started eating it alive in front of people and killed the dog, and so he's arrested for that. That is some zombie shit right there. That is some mindless fucking shit. All this synthetic drugs and stuff, because your soul, that's what gets me. Your soul is still in there. Your soul is talking to you. Your soul is giving you guidance. I don't know how those drugs and stuff, they just somehow override. And then I don't even know if you guys saw what I was talking about this morning. If you guys even saw that, if you've seen about that video yet, about that doctor talking about what's going on in the hospitals. It's so disgusting. I'm telling you, the organ stuff is, fuck. I mean, that's kind of creepy. Our world seems to be run on blood and organs, you know what I mean? Um, if he's, we are okay, Andrew still hasn't said how old he is. Maybe Andrew's left. Maybe Andrew left the room. Maybe he's left the conversation. Maybe he's a catfisher. No, did not see the video. Tell us, please. Oh, God, it was so fucking disgusting. And I had to talk in code, and I got to talk on code, even though this is, because, and who knows, I think that they monitor this anyway, so I still got to talk in code. But so this video is a doctor. I don't know if it is like two girls are interviewing him. So I think it's got to be like a podcast. Could be like a newspaper or something. So if you see the video, it's like a doctor is sitting there and he's being interviewed by these two girls. And so he's giving his background and stuff. And he is old. He was a part of inventing the ventilators in 1967. And he tells this horrible story about, uh, because I've talked a lot about the ethics and stuff in the medical. And since they did a class on it, when we first started nursing school, it already brought it into my mind. So there was so many things I would always be questioning about, is this ethical? Is this like, it really you start seeing it different, the science and stuff, and what they're doing and what they're trying and stuff. It is like a fucking Yahtzee world, man. And so in some other country, and it was like around 1967 or something, and they did some sort of a transplant. I don't know what it was. I can't remember. He says, but this video was so traumatizing. I can't remember what he had all said at the beginning. And he said that so they did this transplant. I don't remember how it went, but so in America, of course, they had to go and do one too. And so they did one on two babies. One baby was 3 days old and one baby was 18 days old. And they took the heart out of the 3-day-old one and put it in the 18-day-old one. And then both babies died. And there was so much backlash that happened because it was so unethical, especially at the time. Like it has changed so much. Like if you're not older and you haven't watched this change, you don't even realize how much things have changed to get us to where we are. But so everybody was so outraged and so disgusted, and they, wanted some kind of justice or something. And so these doctors all got together and went in to come up with something. They had to come up with something and involved these Harvard doctors or whatever, these ones that tell us, the science. And so then they came up with a new thing. They invented a new thing called brain dead. That was invented. It's not real. It's not real. That's not fucking real. And just saying it again because, that just happened in my family. So, and then right before I saw this video, I saw another video of this content creator. And I guess she's some sort of Christian influencer or something. Because then somebody else who was sharing her video was saying something about, well, she's a strong Christian woman and all this stuff. But in the video that I had seen the woman talking, her son, who looked like he was about, I don't know, 26 years old or something like that, he was in a motorcycle wreck, head-on collision, and he is in the hospital. And they told her he was brain dead. And I can't remember what state it's in because she was telling everybody, she's putting the numbers up. She's wanting everybody to call. She's going to court. She's trying to get her kid moved to this other trauma center. And the doctors won't do it. They keep telling her he's brain dead. And so she's having this fit. She's going on social media and she has this huge following. She's trying to get all this action going, legal stuff and everything. So then the person who came in into this other video on this update said that the two hospitals talked and they agreed he's brain dead. There's nothing we can do. So back to this doctor, what this doctor is saying on this video, and it has to do like where we kept on being like with the blue stuff and the Narcan and all this weird stuff that's going on about that. And so that is kind of because if you go listen to them and you take it how you want to take it. You listen and you pick up on it, you pick up on it. As it sure sounds to me that they came up with this certain blue stuff to go out and to go, people are all fear of this when they should be in fear of this. And so they released that out into all of these communities. And that stuff was to purposefully get them to a state of retrieval so that they can take these things out of them. But none of the people are really dead. That's not real. And this guy was saying that just like plants, trees, everything is got conscious. Everything is alive. Everything is living. And he said, just as even if your brain goes dead, you have a brain dead. Then what they sit there and say. And he said that one of the big things too is that what they're doing is like I've talked about so much on this goddamn protocol shit. This guy fucking these admins. There's gonna be people who are going to go fucking down hard on this. Like, fuck, if I have a family member it was in administration, in medical, fuck, I'd be thinking, ooh, I don't know what's up with them. But so the, when they take the people in, they do the Narcan because that is so that they can salvage the parts, but still keep the person. There's something about it. Like you have to go and listen because they should be doing something else. Like there's something they're doing about it that's shady, and so then they put them on a ventilator, and that right there, they shouldn't be doing that. But so they put him on the ventilator, which causes problems right away. So you got somebody whose brain's not functioning because brain dead is not real. So you've got somebody who's in a traumatic situation, whatever has gone on. And then but they want all the stuff that's inside. It's like, what are they doing with it all? Like, seriously, where is it all going? Like, it is mental. And other people, you got to be seeing these videos, these compilation videos of these young people who are all dying from this. So many. And this guy said, if you are from the ages like 16 to 30, you do not want to go in the hospital unconscious. They will make sure that you stay that way because all they want is that stuff that's inside of you. And they're setting all this up to get people in there so that they keep taking them and taking them and taking them. And so then and they did this to my son-in-law, and I don't know all the stuff. But so they take him in and then they put him on the ventilator. Then they do these tests. He said the worst thing that they can do is this apnea test. It swells their brain. And so, because then they come back and they say their brain's all swollen, they're brain dead, they've got no brain activity, we got to let them go and stuff. And this doctor is saying that's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. They're doing that and they're uh, killing the people so that they can take the things. So it isn't people are dying like he was saying there's even some creepier shit going on where they're saying that people are dead but then they're keeping their bodies because they're not really dead, they're just still alive, but they're you'd have to go in and listen and listen to how it's explained. But to me, definitely, you don't want anybody going in unconscious too, especially in this, where you've got viable organs, like good ones. They want them for some reason, and then so they're setting it up so that they are getting people to come in so that they can just keep taking them, and then they're using this diagnoses that is a made up thing that isn't even real. All it is kind of like you're injured and then you just got to heal. You just need time to heal. And so just like a comatose person or something, but they're calling all these people brain dead so that they can take this stuff. It is just like, oh my God, especially when it's just happened in my family. It's just like, oh my fucking God, this is so evil. And then seeing what they were doing to that woman, just seeing, and then how the hospitals are working together. All I want is that guy, that young, healthy guy's stuff. They're just like, no, brain dead, no, brain dead, no. Can't do anything for him, brain dead. It's like, and it's not even a real thing. So it's like, they're killing, they're just, it's the same fucking weird shit with fucking Canada. Go in and be in the maid, go in there and be euthanized And I know that's goddamn conscious stealer. I know that is. And then like a Ghostbuster machine. Then they go in there and use it. Now they've got to they've got to figure out how they can just start getting all the organs too, because they got. I mean, why would you waste that? I was like, what are you guys doing with them all? Like, how in the hell? How do you need so many? And then what even gets weirder is when you realize, like, we're not even real. Like, what are the whole thing is just so weird. It's so weird. It's mind boggling. But man, I was really upset. That was the first video I went and saw. And I think I had seen that lady's last night before I went to bed. And then, or probably in the middle of the night, I swear to God, it's just like, it's just light hours and dark hours now. It's just, there's times that I sleep and times that I'm awake. And it doesn't have anything to do with the color outside at this point. But so at some point, I saw that woman's videos, what they were doing to her son. Then I saw this doctor, this interview with this doctor, and he is a whistleblower. He's like, this is really going to be horrible stuff. People are not going to want to know this stuff. This is why I keep saying the medical stuff, this is going to bring so much anger. I mean, fuck. I, God damn. And then to know that how close the med beds are, and just even for my son-in-law, they didn't take his. They didn't take that I know of. Like, I have no idea. They can't take him off of a cadaver. He said they have to have him alive. And I had dealt with these people before because I had a patient who he was sitting there awake, alive 1 minute, talking to his wife. He had had surgery. And then I walk out of the room and I start walking down the hall and it gets an emergency alert. I go back in the room and he's dead. Like, boom. And how did they do that though? Because they said he was unconscious, but he was brain dead. See, it was the fucking brain dead shit. So they said he was brain dead, and then right away had the fucking organ people, like, they are there immediately and negotiating and hooking him up and stuff. And he was definitely in that young age. And then they said, oh, because of his surgery, he had a blood clot. It just passed, and it just instantly killed him. Just instantly killed him. And so that they, I mean, they got to do something good with it. What happened? We got to do something positive. Take his organs and do something good with them. What are you doing with them? Are these people really getting these things? Like when people get, because they're taking way too many. They don't need as many. Like the whole thing is too weird. I mean, it's way, way too weird. It just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. I mean, I thought the traffic thing was bad enough, but for whatever with this organ bullshit is just gets crazier and crazier. A negative polarity matrix for sure. Yeah, it is like this, but this is like what I think is this Piscean age was about the duality. That is what this we're gonna go out of this black and white kind of era or something. Like we're gonna go way more into the light. It's weird because I don't know, micro macro. Mel, are you saying shit? I've been a nurse 23 years. Oh, Amy, you're a nurse too. You've been a nurse a long ass time. I wasn't a nurse that long. I don't know where the organs go. Fuck, that's fucking weird. I really have ever come across someone who has had a transplant. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shouldn't we have like so many patients that had them? And I think I like had two because it's a big deal when you have them because they're on so many fucking medications because they've got to take all these medications so their body doesn't kill the organs that don't belong in it. And so they got reduced immunity. Like there's so many problems. Like I wouldn't, like to me, if they told me I needed a different organ, I needed an organ. At this point, I don't even want cutting and taking anything out of me at all. Well, I want these goddamn implants out, but I don't want them taking my parts out. And I don't want anybody else's parts in me. And so I don't want any of that, anybody else's parts or something. So, look, I don't know. It just is weird. Like, I don't understand. Yeah, because there should be for how many people, especially what that doctor is saying, all these people that are going in and they just keep getting all of these, they're not going to other people. I swear to God, they've got to be going into the labs, growing something, the cloning. There's something to it. There's something about it. Like, I don't know. Well, I would think we're gonna find out as as we start getting the truth told to us and stuff. But this organ stuff just gets weirder and weirder. I was not expecting to see that. Like, I thought it was weird, but then to see like that they made up a fucking brain that is made up. Like, what in the hell? Like, yeah, that just I don't know how you feel about Amy, but I mean, that just boggles my mind. They made up brain dead, like, in order to cover their ass, in that there is no brain dead. People can stay, it just like it's like a coma. They just have to heal. Their consciousness hasn't left. They're pushing it out to take the parts, and they got to make the people be, unable to respond. It's like putting people to sleep and you're just killing them. It's fucking horrible. Of everything that they do here is just like, this place is so dark. God, I can't wait till there's more light. And all of these people listing organ donors on their driver's license. Yeah, I was. And the last license I got, I said, no, I don't want that on there. I don't know what, though, because even if you have it or you don't have it, they go in and start putting pressure. Because back then, when I was a nurse, and that one, when they were coming to retrieve that guy's organs, he, in some conversation, maybe it was with the organ transplant people, but the driver's license thing, they still have to argue. Like, a person can go in and you can have it marked on your license. You go in and you're in a car wreck and you're brain dead. And then they are going to take them. They can't do it off your license. They have to get somebody else to come in and say, they have to get permission from somebody or something. It's whatever, probably with their creepy consent, they think that that's going to keep them from going, keep them karma good or something. I don't know to the depth of where all these people understand things. It's just so weird. So pushing through the indoctrination and challenge most cannot handle. I know it is because you have to face yourself. The whole thing is you've been indoctrinated and programmed into being something that you're not. But it is like you have to face that. And that is not that easy to face. Like, I think the hardest thing to do is facing yourself. I think that's why souls put so much effort into creating whole entire realities to come in and experience it, to understand yourself. Shows how hard it is to, I mean, just in my whole first part of my living, how weird it was just, being in your body and feeling like there's so many things about it that you don't have any idea when you're inside of it. You don't know what it looks like. You don't know what others see. Like, there's such a curiosity. What is it? What do others see? What do I seem like to other people and stuff? And then, how big am I? Am I big? Am I small? And there's just, because it's like, I don't know, the body dysmorphia of your soul, because your soul is separate, but then you're in this like glove, but then it's confusing. It's like you start thinking that you are the glove because that's the part you see, so that must be what you are. But why do you feel different inside than what you see on the outside? Why does it not all go together? You know what I mean? So let's see, one must be willing to see how their worth, or they would not be here. That's what I think is, but I still think that, like, I don't know if every single person would ascend, like if every single person is doing the work to evolve. So I don't know. I think everybody is here. Everybody has these opportunities. Like there's tons of souls here for this. And they all have their different experiences they're going through. And whatever they came to learn, they may be doing great on it. Um, but I don't think everybody's here for all the same things, that's for sure. Organ donor by default in many European countries, since a few only thought it was strange they promoted and passed the law so quickly. What's going on in the medical world is think about this. There, it's weird. It is like I mean I know that they've got so many experiments going all the time. You know the Yahtzees were they're running everything, and they're always doing experiments and stuff. But I don't like. Are they taking all these organs and like growing whole people from them? Are they growing and taking them, and then they're trying to grow more food? Is that how they're like growing this lab grown meat? They're taking organs and then they're doing some kind of splices. So they've got labs growing where they've just got all these organs growing meat. But then, even if, the cannibalism, but organ meat is supposed to be so good for you. And then there's a whole weird thing about you can drink your own pee because it's been filtrated through you, and it will cure all the things because it goes through the filtration system. Then it puts out what it needs. And then if you go and you intake the urine, then it heals the stuff or something. Like the people who drink their own urine, go listen to what the stuff they say. That's nuts. And so, you know, I mean, if they take the organs out of the people, I would think if they grew organ meat, I don't know. This is just wacky. The whole thing's so wacky, especially when on top of it you add in that this place isn't even fucking real. And then we have these conversations like it is real. That fucks with my mind. Because then it's like we're talking about something that's not even real, anyways. But it's real when we're in this experience. It seems real. But I don't know. This whole thing is just so unreal. This is an unreal world. It's a weird. Um, oh, should have put do not disturb. I didn't think about that going live. Um, Mel is called greed and power. Yeah, that's for sure. Greedy motherfuckers. They're a bunch of money hoarders. I mean, how much money do you need? Like, that's fear right there. You gotta have all the money. To me, a lot of these rich people who want to control everything, they just seem like real wusses. They seem like totally spiritually bankrupt. That's for sure. They don't have any. I know a woman who came out of a coma after 6 years, woke up fine. I was in the 70s. A neighbor of the family, she was so happy to be back, wondered what she missed. See? And that is basically any of the trauma that happens to a brain. And then when they go in, so when they put him on a ventilator, that that's, they shouldn't do that apparently. And then they go and do, so they start saying to the people they can't breathe on their own. What, you should just let them breathe. You got to let their bodies, just the same way as like how they say our bodies go into a high temperature to heal itself, and that we need to allow it to go through the temperature so that it kills what's inside of it. It does it all itself. But see, then they get us to be like, no, you got to go get Tylenol, you got to go get Advil, you got to fight your temperature, you got to do this, you got to do that, and all that stuff while your body's trying to fight something. And then we try and interfere. And so it's kind of, it seems like the same thing. Like, how much stuff are we trying to interfere with that the body has a natural thing that it does? And so when it gets injured, you know, however long, and time doesn't have the same thing, you know? Just like that one lady in the coma that I saw. I just thought it was so interesting because she had woke up from a coma, and hers, she just woke up recently. And she was in it for 6 years or 4 years. No, I think she was there for 4 years. And but she said that when she came out of it, that she thought she was living her life the whole time. It was completely normal. There was nothing that she thought she was in a coma or that she was in a nightmare or anything that was bad. She was just living her life normal. And then she woke up and found out that she was in a coma. And then she had to go to her real life. And her real life was not near as exciting and fun as the life that she had created in the coma world. And so, just the whole idea, even where we think that they're all like trapped in some sort of Jacob's ladder, hellacious reality, and they're trapped in a nightmare or something. And probably if we had a family member, like we shouldn't have them at the hospital if they're unconscious. We don't have them there. You need to bring them home. Like that lady who has her son in a motorcycle wreck, she'd be better off just taking him home and just letting his body start trying to heal itself. And if he can't heal itself, then he's going to go, then he's leaving the game. But if he is, I don't know, the whole thing to make up brain dead so you can take the things. Like, God, it's so weird. But so if the person just needs time to heal, but whatever they do, something, the ventilator fucks them up. And then they do this thing called this apnea test. And he said that they like they do the ventilator or something, and they take them off of it. Then they make them wait 10 minutes, and they have to take a breath in 10 minutes or something. And he said when they do this little thing that that causes inflammation in their brain. And so they are causing the inflammation, like whatever happens when the people overdose and become unconscious or whatever. I don't know. It's probably a lot of different things happening. But whatever they're doing, their solution is like the same thing when all the people were coming in with the Dovik last year or the year before. And their protocol was to murder, wasn't to save. So now it's like the same thing. They're doing the same kind of. It's so crazy too because we all get out here and we all sit here and talk about, well, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that. We're gonna. It's like, oh my gosh! And then they just come in the side door, and they just start hitting the kids, and some of those compilation videos where people are talking about their kids being killed by this stuff, it's like good kids. It's like little cheerleaders, like these little sports kids, and they go to a party and somebody hands them a joint and they take a hit, and then they're in an ambulance and getting Narcan, and then they're up there, and then they've got them. I've got them in where they want them. It's nuts, man. Like, this world is so dangerous. Like, fuck. Fuck, it's dangerous. Like, God, for us to have any family members, any of us that would fucking be living through this. Like, there's tons of people are dying from all this shit. That's for sure. Tons of people are really dying. There's a lot. Can you hear how loud this is? Let's see what it is. That sounds like a helicopter. That's gotta be a helicopter. That's not an airplane. Oh no, it's hard to tell now. It's so fucking loud. So loud, and it's so weird is when I go out and I'll be looking and it does not match the sound. Everything's out of sync. I really think like the moon's turning off, they got the sun projectors, whatever the hell's all going on. Are they really just projecting images of planes flying up there and nothing's really happening? I swear to God, it's weird. And I don't know what all of the weird so even if that is a helicopter, I don't know, we'll see if it flies over here. I'm really, really hoping that today big stuff is, I feel like everything is going good. Like, I really feel like this is a splitting of the realities. Like, when I was talking to my mom and talking to some different people, and it's like, there is, some people who are not going to have, like, if you were doing your healing, you've been working on yourself, you've been getting prepared, you know that the age is changing and we're headed towards this age of Aquarius, you know that the world's not ending and all this stuff, and you know that we are, moving into this better time and stuff, and you're being prepared and stuff, that when this shift happens, I'm telling you, it is going to be like we're going to be like, doing so well, and other people are going to be in such crisis, and And just like to my mom, even with the conversation today, where I can just totally see, like there's these certain things, certain choices, certain things that I have done is going to be really impact some of these people in their own journey of their own, to me, their own self, their own listening to themselves, their own trusting and stuff. Because, everybody thinks, I sound crazy. So they aren't doing the things, but all of the people, all of us who have been doing them, I'm telling you, it's going to be like, it is going to be like this totally split reality, like the new earth and the other ones. But there's going to be like this middle people. But so it's going to be like where all of a sudden it's going to seem like everything's going really good for all of us. Like everything's going good, because it's the energy we've been putting out. We've been working on ourselves and healing and being mindful and trying to be, conscious of what we're putting out and how we behave and So we've been putting out a certain kind of energy, and that energy is going to come back, and it's going to seem like, oh my gosh, everything's going so good for them. What the hell? And so, and it's going to be in all different ways. Like, I don't know all the different ways, but it's going to be a big, but that is going to be what is going to motivate so many people to start doing better, working on themselves. But there's going to be so many people are going to be so hit so hard by all the stuff that's going to happen. And it seems like I feel some kind of evil sometimes to sit there and go like, oh, I hope it crashes this week because it's going to be so good for me. But it's not going to be good for a lot of other people. But I do hope, and man, I just feel like it's gotta really be close. Even if it doesn't, even if they don't tell us this week and that we don't have the dollar's over with. It already is over. Like the dollar already has no value. Like the media should be all over that. They should be saying it. But see, then they couldn't because the bankers would lose control of here. And oh, what was it? And how is J.P. Morgan still alive? I keep hearing his name in the news over and over and over, and so some lawsuit. He was all sorts of shady shit with the money thing, and there's stuff about the island and paying money and covering up stuff. So he's all involved with all of that, a lot of shady shit. And so he's going down. It's Chase Bank's going down. Like all these different ones are going to keep on going. But, I guess that we can just see, this week it'll be this one, this week it'll be that one. It's, I just don't even want to say it. I feel like somebody, I don't know. It's easy when you can just see through people's behaviors when they do certain things and you can see through it. It's like, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. And it is, but I don't want to, I don't know. Sometimes when people try and go by and they try and be real cool. It's like, I'm still, no, no, not interested. I think that people all have different ideas of, their standards or whatever, but I'm willing to stay single until, I mean, I know I've already been shown. Like, I'm not going to just, oh, well, I'm just going to date my wife. No, I don't know. I think differently. I don't care. I mean, it's just all of a sudden to just keep on driving by my driveway, all in this whole motorcycle gear and stuff like. No, I went on motorcycles when I was like 16. I don't have any interest to go drive around on motorcycles. So many guys around here drive around on motorcycles. Lots of guys in the Pacific Northwest. Probably lots of guys all on the West Coast. I don't know if on the East Coast if guys all drive around on motorcycles, but they sure do over on the West Coast. It's like, no, I think they're dangerous as fuck. I have no interest to go drive around on a motorcycle. Fuck, I worked in the hospital. I saw what it did to people. Fuck that. I didn't see it when I was 16, but I sure saw it when I got older. No, thanks. And I've been on a motorcycle. I've been hit on a motorcycle. People do not see you. Just turn right into you. And a lot of those guys that I hung out with back then got in motorcycle wrecks. And one of them, a guy who looked like Robert Plant. He was, oh my gosh, he was so cute. And then he got in a motorcycle wreck, and he went into the what are those things? The things that stick up. They're metal and they're yellow light things or something. I think they have reflector lights or something. I think they're supposed to be some purpose. I don't know. Maybe they're just reflector lights. But anyways, he hit into one of those with his face, and it just split right down his face. So he took this, like, where all the girls, especially because he looked like Robert Plant during when Led Zeppelin was so popular, and then he got in that motorcycle wreck and just jacked his face like a giant scar. And while it was healing and stuff, but a lot of those guys, like, they were all getting in wrecks. But anyways, that's a long thing. But no, dude, I don't care how many fucking times you drive by my goddamn driveway. I'm not gonna come out and go, cool, cool, let's go for a ride. Yeah, I love riding motorcycles. No, I don't. I sit there. And the last one I think I was on, because I went to this over there by Idaho, the biker bar, and so I went over there. It was a really fun, cool bar, and but I went on this ride. This one guy's like, "Oh, here, I'll take you for a ride." Stupid ass me. And I go and get on this guy's motorcycle. He fucking kidnapped me. He took me to his house. He took me in his house. And then he started showing, he did have a cool car because he had my favorite car, a convertible 65 Corvette. And so I wasn't, I was like, that is a cool car. But then he was trying to rape me all over his house. And I had to get serious. Like, I would be like, fucking dude, you get me the fuck out of here. And but just, I mean, luckily I got out and didn't get raped or murdered. And then I was talking to somebody at work about what had happened and how scary it was. And I guess he does that all the time. He's known for it. He's a rich guy, and he gets away with is taking girls and just doing what he wants. I'm definitely a fight or flight. I'm a fight. Like, there's one guy tried to rape me. He I reached down and grabbed with my hand and took my fingernails and dug into him as hard as I could and ripped. And he jumped up screaming, and I took off running. I was like, I'm, I'm not very passive. That's for sure. I'll just go off rambling. See what y'all are talking about. But people can start telling the truth. I know a woman who came out of a coma. Okay, I already read that one. I think we're all mind wiped on daily basis. That's what I keep thinking. It does seem like that. I feel like I'm being drugged. I'm telling you, I feel like we're being drugged. And just for her to be over there sleeping, like, and then, but getting up in the middle of the night and stuff. But it keeps being like, it's like you're just knocked out. You just cannot stay awake. It's very strange. Yeah, they have the labs underground, but I think they're moving them right above ground now because they're getting people to accept this shit. Like, I think people are, I don't know. It's going to be curious to see what people are going to start thinking when they start finding out, like, there's clones and shit running around, and all this science is way more advanced than what you think, and they've gone in a way creepy, unethical direction. And they're hiding it from you, and they're leaking it out in small doses, and everything they leak out, you accept it. And it just keeps going because they just want to turn it into the total droid transhumanism, no identity, no culture, no heritage, nothing except for just empty shells of people who are completely dependent on the government, and then they just want to use your energy. And just like that weird dystopian movie said, they want to just take it's like they want to take something that a lot of people don't know they have. That's what totally weirds me out, is how many people don't know that they have a soul. Yeah, I mean, even religious people. It's like they think like there's like a little speck that is in them that comes out and goes up to heaven or something. God, I feel so fortunate over the experiences that I've gone through, like coming out of my body when I was a teenager. and getting that experience, and to go through where I knew I'd already had the thought, like I was out, I was thinking, I was doing something. And then when I turned back and saw my body and got sucked back into it, but I already had the acknowledgement that who I was completely knew I was separate from that. I completely saw I was my complete self. Like, I didn't need that brain to think. I didn't need those legs to walk. There was nothing about that thing that was laying over there I needed. I was exactly the same. And that gave me such insight into what we are as our soul. This illusion is not you. This is a picture, a portrayal. It is a representation of what you're here to work on. It's just like putting on a glove. It's like, some people put on a glove for a big dinner party. Some people put on a glove to keep their hand warm. Some people, like, we're all having them on for different reasons. We're all here for different experiences and different opportunities to grow and stuff. But it's all just something that we put on. It isn't us. We are what is inside of it. And we are what gives it the power. And these powers that be, they know that. And they want that. Now when these cars drive by real slow, it's like vultures. But I just feel certain it's going to crash before that they get their hands on my house. But if they do take it, I just feel sure that that is the universe just putting me into a safe place. I'm not going to whine and cry about it. My dad was in an accident before I was born. He was in a coma for months. Did he ever say anything about like what happened when he was in the coma? Like what his experience was and whatnot? Maybe the organs are food for the reptiles. I know. I probably. Maybe we're way more overrun by reptilians than we think. And I did hear that in all of this. This was where I was hearing this. I think if you look up like I wonder is Lauren Eisenhower even out there still? Or has she been taken down too? But she had a lot of interviews and stuff of the secret space program people. But you can see some of that on the Gaia channel on Disclosure. And David Wilcock and Corey Good. But then there was a couple more, and Laura Eisenhower was talking to a couple of them, and so they are also make the same claims as Corey Good, that they're from the secret space program and how they were taken and stuff like that. And so then and where they go and work, and they do that same with the 25 and back program, where they have to they go work in these things, and then they reverse them back in age. Those are the med beds, see, that I'm waiting on, because those med beds are the ones that fix all of your stuff, and they're quick, and they remove all of the artificial stuff, like whatever you have inside of you that's artificial, even bolts and screws and any of that stuff. It's going to take that stuff out, and then it's going to regenerate all your cells, so you grow back. Like you have missing teeth, you won't need your dentures anymore. All your teeth grow back, all of your cells, all of it. If you had your appendix out, that grows back. Everything is going to grow back when you go through this machine. And then it does your cells going back like 25 years. And so it's going to be so fucking, and then we're not going to be aging and dying either. But on the secret space program, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, because on one of them, and then I think I also saw this on some of the QHHT things. I can't remember if it was Allison Coase or if it was that other lady. I can't think of her name, but she does a lot of them on YouTube. But because I had heard it from the people on the secret space program and then out of a QHHT, but they go and get all, like some of the people that they take them and they deliver them to these beings alive, and because those beings like to eat alive people. So they and there's this huge amounts of people, like they're like doing shipping containers of food to these reptilians and stuff. So you can go here, like If you can find Laura Eisenhower stuff, she probably has a lot of good interviews if you're interested in like the secret space programs and stuff like that. And David Wilcock too. That is where, to me, I learned a lot about like the technology and how advanced it was, is listening to those people. And they say too many things where it's like, but everybody's got to decide for themselves. But yeah, I know that technology is way advanced. And then, and so when they were saying that about the Nicera and how it was going to release all these patents, and then when you start going into finding out like about the Illuminati and all that shit, you start seeing like how they were killing all these people. And if you came up with a cure, they kill you. If you came up with anything anything good for people, they just kill you. So the in order to keep everything repressed, to keep us all under control. So, and then, and then it all goes with the bankers, it all goes with the fucking government, with the pharmaceutical, like all is like one big beast. It's all like one big monster with its tentacles all throughout our lives. And so oh, my stomach's growling. I I did make some of that. Oh, I don't, if you guys didn't know, start talking like we've been talking all morning, because I made some bread, my sourdough, and I started it last night. And I thought, well, I'll just let it raise overnight and it'll get really sour, but it'll be really tangy and tart and it'll taste good. And so I made that. I made it in the middle of the night. I've eaten some of that toast. Oh, yeah, I ate a couple cookies. I am getting hungry. I don't know what I want to eat. Like, that's another thing, too. Just everything is so weird. Like, I don't know. Food is weird. This place is weird. Time is weird. All the people are weird. Like, everything is so weird. It's just so weird. But I bet you it does have something to do with feeding the reptiles. Because there's something weird about the organs. No doubt about it. Underground. It's a bummer that I wonder if all of this conversation does show up in the video. I tried to go in and see if there was some kind of setting. I tried to change something, so I'll see if this goes into the comments. Yeah, I know, there is really only a few people. Like, not very many people can really see past. It really is like there's a veil over their eyes. I count the helicopters and ambulances sometimes daily. Yesterday there was 4 ambulances within 4 hours. Very unusual. Yeah, there is weird stuff. Really weird stuff. That's why we are here, Kelly. We're all alone. We're not alone because we're all here together. Yeah, we may have died. Maybe we're all died. Maybe we're all in a black box together. They would not listen to all of us who could see and warn them. No, so aggravating. Everybody called me crazy all the goddamn time. But I gotta say a couple things to my mom today. It's like, yeah, I've been prepared. I feel like I'm going into this new time all set. And I'm going to be like doing really good. And they're all going to be crying about what they've lost. And I'm going to be like just in gain. That's the difference that I'm talking about, this splitting of the realities. I'm going to be gaining and they're going to be in focus on loss and what they're losing. Because a lot of people, I think, are going to be very upset about their value of their houses going down so much. They would not listen, so not trying to hold myself or anything, but I feel like we are being trained for some sort of. That's what I think, Jennifer. I think that that is right. I think that we are. There's a reason why we woke up. There's a reason why we're going through this. I think that there is, there's some sort of roles that we're going to go into. Because there really is some sort of a thing where it's going to switch and everything is going to be going good for us. Like and it is going to be showing people. It's going to be like role models for sure. But yeah, because there's so many people, they're focused on the wrong things. They don't trust. All of them are putting their energy in the wrong area. But those of us who woke up in this, we are putting our energy into like where we want it to be. Like, I don't know. There's some different. There's some different. And I agree. And I don't think that sounds full of yourself. I think that it's true. I think that we are headed to some kind of a place, a position, something. But I think it is that we all also have in our minds about, helping humanity. Like we have got different attitudes, different ways of looking at things than what people before, like where they would have influencers or whatever, and then they would influence people to buy things they don't need or to all of that kind of stuff. It's going to be like that influence that is going to be coming from the people who have healed is going to be completely different kind of influence. It's going to be a lot more helping people to help themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to be a change in leadership too, like the way leaders work. It's going to be more about walking the walk, you know, and but I definitely think, yeah, those are going to be the people who are going to be community leaders. Are going to be taking things in the new direction. There's going to be people who, and then everybody else will be kind of following their lead. So they're definitely, I think that the leaders are awake at this point and are actively participating in their own healing and advancement in the future, which I think most of us, our souls are speaking to us, and telling us, because I don't know what's going on with these other people, just who think it's just the end of the world. I'm surprised for how many I hear and how many who are just focusing on the rapture. Like, let's let the whole world burn down. Jesus will be here any minute. He's gonna be here any minute. We don't have to worry about a thing. It's like that's not very proactive in life, is it? Um, and I was just thinking the same thing. There is a purpose. I really do think there is a purpose. Um, I think that we are here to do something important. This is cool. Getting an opportunity to get to come in and talk to everybody. This is fun to come and go live. Now I see why a lot of people go and do it all the time. It's fun to come in and talk to people, because what would I be doing otherwise? I'd be looking for something to watch on TV, because I'm sure not going to go out and participate in this weird creepy ass world. um um what was it? There was something I was going to say. Oh yeah, because what I was saying about that farmer lady, because when I stopped talking to her, um where I didn't say anything after, she wanted to go in the Food Alliance, and then I don't know, maybe it was like a month or two later, and she messaged me and wanted to know if I wanted to come over and have a beer or something, and I said no, I'm busy, and we've never spoken again since, because I'm sure, because when you're fragile, when you are not healed, somebody saying something like that to you, especially if she maybe has some kind of insight into the inappropriateness of telling me to starve my neighbors out, is that when you're not healed, those kinds of things are going to hurt a lot more. When somebody says, no, sorry, I'm busy. But, she's not even thinking about what I'm going through. Because that was right when Stella was having a stroke. I'm sitting here trying to help Stella be able to walk. And she couldn't get up. She was crying. It was horrible. And then, she all of a sudden messages me, hey, you want to go have a beer? And I'm like, no, I'm busy. And thinking, well, we'll talk later. But it wasn't like a big pursuit of mine where I was like, oh, well, I don't have any friends. I got to make sure I have this one. It's like, if I'm not in alignment with somebody, I just like, why would we share time and space when we're not in alignment? And there's a certain point of being like, you know, like where you're in someone's life and you think like, well, maybe I'm bringing something good spiritually, maybe it's helping her to see things differently, because she seriously would sit there all day long listening to preachers and reading her Bible and shit. And that's totally living in fear. Like, that is living in fear. And so I thought, well, maybe I'm here to kind of make a difference to help her heal or something. But then it was like a dependency on, just wanting to complain about her life and not wanting to make changes, just to complain. And like, so many people get themselves into that toxic behavior. I'm not going to make any changes. I'm not going to figure out solutions. I'm not going to follow through. I'm just going to sit here and be scared and complain and whine about how things are and how my life is and wish that things would be different. That's the whole thing, is your soul knows that you can make things be different. You have to see, you have to wake up to yourself to know that you can save yourself. So what if you have to leave your husband and you're not going to have that security? Isn't it better to have peace of mind than to stay with somebody if they're paying your bills but they talk down to you? Or, I mean, they're, especially if they're hitting you and smacking you and stuff. Like, I can't just sit and listen to somebody just complain about being abused. Like, that's just not my personality. It's like, you have to be proactive. You have to make changes. You have to take risks. Yeah, I mean, why would you go and put all your time and effort into this person in this relationship when they're not giving anything back but pain and suffering? But you think you don't deserve better? Well, then you got to learn how to deserve better. You got to learn how to love yourself, to see yourself, through God's eyes. If you're going to sit there and focus on God all the goddamn time, why in the world don't you think like you would need to see yourself through God's eyes? Like, there's such a hypocrisy in religion and the people who are super religious, and just their attitude. Like, all of that stuff is coming to the surface. Like, there's so much hypocrisy, so much judgment, so much hatefulness, so much worshiping, just evil, really, it seems like to me. So, hi, Terry. I'm glad you got here, Terry. Let's see. Jennifer Green. Oh, hi, Jennifer. My maiden name is Green. Oh, Terry's maiden name is Green. Maybe you guys are related. And Terry Hart, Chakra Caller, Earth is ascending. It's exciting for everybody to get to meet and talk. That's what I loved when it was like I was going to those ones that were live. It was so fun to get to go in and meet people. And then the next day when they be live, you go in and you get to talk to the people again. And then you could start seeing if there were people who was near you. Like, we don't have that many people in some of these groups. Like, where some of those, like, there was like 5,000 people when it was live, and there'd be like so many people chatting in the groups and stuff. But anyways, the ones that were smaller were still more fun, because it would go too fast. When there would be a ton of people, you couldn't keep up with conversations. See, so I think too, everything is dissolving. Nothing can stop it. It's impossible. It is like the energy's in motion. It's already it's already in motion. It's already going. There's no stopping what's to come. Hi, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Nice name. Yeah, courage is important. It has to do with not being caught up in fear. And anything that we have, any experience that we go through, that we find ourselves focusing on fear, that should be our sign to heal what scares it, to start looking at it differently or something. Like, when I was talking to my mom and I could hear her so clearly, like, you're being in fear, then you're going to the Bible so you can try and relieve your fear, but it's not relieving it, but you need to go into your own self, into your own spirit. But people can't even hear their own spirit. They're so cut off from it, especially if they're so dependent on this book. But if the things that she is scared of is like, you're going to say scared of them. You're going to say scared that you can't trust, like, I have to pay my bills or the whole world's going to fall apart. And then you say you keep paying your bills. And then when the world falls apart, then you see, well, I paid all my bills for nothing. I wasted all of that time and that money and it went nowhere. and which a lot of people are going to have that experience. But that is fear is holding him back. Fear, like I should have made a change. I should have done something different. I should have tried something different. But I was so reliant on this structured economy that's built only for the rich to get richer, and for us to just stay poor in poverty. And but there's got to be risks that you got to take, like I really, I knew I was risking not paying the house and stuff. Like I know it's a risk. I know it is, it could go either way, but I also know that I trust the universe and it's going to go the way it's supposed to go. It's not going to go not the way it's not supposed to go. It doesn't matter like what I'm doing. Like I could be doing a bunch of different things and it's still going to play out the way it's going to play out. But it depends on how I participate in how it plays out. So if I'm an active participant in how it plays out, so then I get a benefit. I get to learn and grow and see. So taking that risk and being like, okay, well, I'm not going to pay. I'm going to instead put that money into the future, what I believe the future is going to be. So I'm going to put that money towards that. And then, which is a gamble anyways, but to be willing to risk it all. See, you have to be willing to risk it all. Everything has to be, you have to be willing to lose something. That's what people think. And see, and then my mom's a hoarder too. So that right there shows she's got a problem with holding on. She holds on and holds on to all these different things. She's scared of not having something. But that is like I don't know. I can't judge it. It's not like my soul. Like I don't fucking know. Is each soul's got to go in and figure that out for themselves. But it's so intertwined in who we become and who we are and how we think we are representing ourselves is that, but it isn't even really that. That is the person who's trying to stay safe. Just like when I said, when there's all this like going on up here, and there will be this aspect of myself that will start questioning, especially when I'm like focused on something that is coming in and I'm focused on that, and then I'll start questioning it. Like there's something in you that is questioning things. And so to me, I don't remember how I was putting that together. Something with the religion and stuff. I don't know, the religion thing, it seems like it holds people back from being able to question and to think. I just feel like religion, all the people who are dependent, they're dependent on religion, they're dependent on medical, they're dependent on government, they're dependent on, I don't know. I mean, I think there's people out there who are paying fucking life coaches, a ton of money in a month. I mean, I think there's tons of people out there paying healers and all sorts of stuff, and they're not getting the real benefit that they could, but they think they're getting a benefit because they're paying for this thing. But you've got to actually participate. You've got to actually go in and actively heal stuff. Like you can't just go to a Reiki healer and then go and have them heal you and then you just leave and you're all healed. A Reiki healer is going to, if they're really moving energy around, if they really are good at moving energy around, they would be moving energy around to release it. So you would have to deal with yourself and have to heal things. But everything is an activity of you having to see yourself and face yourself, but it is all a good purpose. Because otherwise you are this trapped being who's dependent on other people to tell you who you are. And then plus religion, I don't know. Religion has always bothered me so much. It was such a thing to me, it was important to me to take that stand against it when I was younger and say no, even though, I ought to be attacked by the people closest to me and tell them, I'm a devil worshiper, I don't know God. I shouldn't even talk about God because I don't know God. So how dare I even talk about God? I only know like the devil or demons and stuff like that. And but To me, it is sad because it is like not everybody is wants to be spirit. Not everybody wants that connection. You know, some people are satisfied to not be connected spiritually, but it's like the people who want that, and then they trick them through religion. So that's what makes it like, yeah, extra sad to me. It's like they want to be close to, like, they want to understand who and what they are. They want to be close to their maker, their creator, to figure out, to understand their purpose and stuff. But then this world gets them so distracted, and then they just become complacent. They just become accepting. Like, I mean, for people to think that they're super close to God in religion, the two things are not, they're not congruent. They don't go together, because religion isn't about peace and love. Religion is all about judgment and fear. And there's so much with the hate. You know, if these people aren't like you, and then and it seems like the teachings are trying to tell people to look at things differently, you know, to be like Jesus. But then supposedly Jesus' character is based off Buddha or something. Like all these people are going in and trying to find out the truth behind the Bible, and so that they can let all the Christians know the Bibles are lies. And so they're doing all of this research into it and stuff. And you see them do the videos. So I don't know. I'm not out doing all the research. I just know it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's all a bunch of lies. I know that the Vatican had, come up with a storyline. They wanted to create a storyline that they could control the people. And but it's weird how they all like want to follow Jesus, but then they don't really do it. They always choose to be judgmental. Like they're like, I swear to God, there's a lot of hateful Christians, really hateful. Um, so I don't know. Am I, have I said anything else? Have a wonderful rest of the day, Kelly, and chat line. Oh, bye, Rare Breeds. Yeah, I've got to go get something to eat too. How long I've been talking? 126 minutes. Like, I'm not sure how long that is, but I am hungry too. I want to go eat something. I've got, I don't know, I've got some leftovers. Or I can make something new, but it's like, oh, I should eat those leftovers. I hate wasting food. But man, my stomach is jacked up today too. Like, I don't know what in the hell they're poisoning us with something. I know that. I know it's got, I don't think it's just ascension symptoms and stuff. I think ascension symptoms could be, I would think ascension symptoms to me still seems like it would be like if you're having a lot of anxiety and stuff. Because as the vibration is changing, as things are changing, the universe is trying to get you to change. And if you are staying stuck, then you're going to feel anxious. Your anxiety is telling you that you're stuck somehow, that you need to make some kind of changes. So I would call that ascension symptoms. But like these aches and pains, like I don't know, because I don't really think that we're really moving. Like we're not really going out in space or something. Like our land mass is still going to be sitting here. You know, it is, the vibration is way more of how we see things. So, but I think that the changes in our bodies is our own realization that our bodies aren't real, and kind of letting go of that in all different ways. In how we eat, how we medicate, how we take care of ourselves, all these different ways. So I think that's kind of like the transition, like this communication with our bodies and stuff through this. But I don't know. I mean, everybody can have their own opinions on the ascension symptoms, because I wonder too about if it has to do like for how long you've been awake, because we were going through ascension symptoms in 2016. Now there's still people going through ascension symptoms, and people who I see out there who are, teaching people about spirituality, star seeds, light workers, and all of that whole group. And they're talking about, they're going through all these ascension pains and stuff like that. I keep thinking, yeah, but if you just woke up, then there's something about it that is like the ascension pains or something. There's some kind of pains but we're not really going. The vibration that changes is in here. It's our attitude, it's the way we see things, it's the way we look at things. And that is, we are the change. Like, we are literally the change. It's how we view things. It's our changing our attitude, changing how we see things, changing our relationships. Those are the changing. That's what changes the frequency of the planet. That's what brings in the light, is us changing, us healing, us doing better. So the ascension symptoms, has to do with you waking up to you. Is like, we're not really changing. Like, there's going to be a reset. Like, the landscape is going to change. We're going to go back to a cleaner place on the planet, but then we're also going to have uh, so many cool, like, places to get to go and do digs. There's another one that just got unburied or something. Another really cool place. It seems like it's like over by China, or maybe it's in the Himalayas or something. Some village that was under mud or something. Like, there's gonna be lots of really cool historical places, I think, for us to get to go out and experience and learn from. But the landscape is gonna go, it's gonna be more of like the flyover zones and stuff. It's gonna be more of where the places where there's a lot of people are gonna go underwater or under mud or under storms or whatever. They're gonna all go away. So most of us are gonna be losing our houses anyways. So there's nothing to really whine and cry about, because we're all going to get new ones when things start switching, when things start changing. But the landscape is going to change, but it's not going to be, the planet's not going to suddenly break loose and start flying through space into a new dimension. And that, to me, is this, because all this stuff is around us always. We've always had all these different realms and realities around us. We just weren't paying attention. That's what the veil lifting, the eye opening, the awakening is, to start seeing what's really around you. And it's not what you thought it was, because you were focused in the game, you were focused on the story. But then when you start realizing that the world is way different than you thought, and the more you look into it, the more you look into supernatural, mystical, all of those kinds of things, the more you start seeing, the more you look into the things that they told you to laugh at, the things they made fun of in movies, reincarnation and all of that kind of stuff. And the more you look into it, the more pieces start going together. The more you start understanding who you are, what this place is. That's the changing the frequency. And then that is us beginning to see the truth, is like what shocks, it's like sends out a shock wave, that, to me, that the firmament goes, the ice wall, the water starts rising. However it all goes down, those things are going to go. But it's us awakening to ourselves is what puts it all into motion. Like, it's already in motion, but it's like we've been waking up our whole entire lives. Like, when you start thinking and you start going back, you start realizing, like when I was a little kid, I was fully aware of the conspiracies. I was fully aware the government was out to get, like, there was certain things that we knew, because we were programmed for this time. It was all like had this part that we were learning and growing in, but then we go through this part, and it is all the things that you were and who you were has a point. Like, everything that I went through, all the traumas and stuff, there was a reason that I went through all that stuff. And so when you come into like that acceptance, that realization, and that's a big change in the frequency, in the vibration. And then that, us accepting the spiritual side to ourselves, the spiritual world, is what opens up all of these other realms. It's our accepting it, our being able to allow it, to be able to witness it, to see it. And you can see how the people keep themselves closed off. Even Andrew, that stuff's crazy. But has he looked into it? Have you gone and read a bunch of books about it? Have you gone and read a bunch of books about near-death experiences? Have you gone and read a bunch of books about reincarnation? Like, there's so many different things. Don't discount something or disregard something if you haven't even gone out and studied it. Don't, just because they make fun of it in movies and tell you it's wacky, don't just think that it's not true, it's not real. You have to go in and investigate for yourself, because this is you opening up to you. And they want to keep you small, and this world is so much bigger. But all of those changes are what changes the frequency, the vibration. So ascension symptoms, to me, is way more about this you coming into your own self, your body, your pains, your whatever it is. So, and I just saw a video, that girl, who was talking about the Starcy one who's doing videos and stuff, and she's talking about she's having a really hard time, but she said that she is seeing that it is bringing up stuff that she needs to work on. So she sees that she's got a lot of stuff she still needs to work on. It's really bringing up a lot of things. And that is the thing, is like, I mean, just because you go and heal one thing and you think you're doing better and you realize you're chosen, you realize you're a star seed and all that stuff, that doesn't mean you're all healed. And it's a setback when you all of a sudden are like, oh my God, I thought I was all healed. I thought I was all fine. And now this is bothering me. No, there's a ton of stuff. There's a ton of stuff you're going to be releasing. There's a lot you're going to, it's a reevaluation. It's a changing, it's a restructuring of yourself. It's reevaluating yourself, your relationships, who you are, how you act, everything. It's like a complete changeover. That is the rebirth. That is the phoenix coming out of the ashes. That is when you should be getting baptized, is the rebirth. You are dedicating yourself to you. You're wiping away the old self and you're coming into your new self. That is a part of this process of this claiming your birthright to yourself, and going through the cleansing the old self off of you. So, but then they make it into this, cleanse for Jesus and all that stuff. But really, there's a real purpose to washing away who you were and coming into who you're going to become. It is this whole transformation, this butterfly, you coming out of the cocoon into who you are. And so that is what, we have. And then we have all of those people who have been actively working towards that. That is what it's going to like, like Jennifer said, is going to be like a bunch of people are going to be coming out of the ashes. It's like the phoenixes are all going to come out of the ashes, and it's going to be unexpected to a lot of people. They're not going to see it coming, because even when you try and tell them and stuff, it's like they can't see it. But it's not, it's because they're not supposed to. They're supposed to get this impact. They're supposed to see this. And I keep seeing these tarot readers saying that there's going to be a bunch of people where some stuff is going to start happening, and it is going to be like the power of God. It's like the power of God has spoken. They're going to see God through what happens through all of us. So what happens with all of us when things start going good is where they're going to suddenly see, the purpose, the God, their soul. It's going to all of a sudden make sense. So, and that makes sense to me, because I do think that there's a reason. There's a reason I woke up all that time ago and I went through that. And I've been going through these chakras. I didn't even fucking know what chakras were a few years ago. I've been living the spiritual thing, I didn't know anything about them. And then, in my uh, pursuant of my truth, and what the things that come to me, and then start learning about the chakras, and then realizing like, oh my gosh, I'm going through this, I'm healing this system, I'm actively releasing, I'm moving out of this autopilot and moving in. And it was really impacting me a lot when I was opening my heart chakra, my throat chakra, and my crown chakra. And it was it was really, I was I was really something, and then we are like the pioneers. We're going and doing this stuff without a lot of help. We're going and figuring this stuff out on our own, and so it is like the leaders, that people will have, because it is like, we're looking into things, we're understanding things about this new future, this place that we're headed, where other people just think, well, it's the end of the world, it's the end of everything, just, I don't know, it's so strange. Hey, Tyrone, how are you? um yeah, it is, it's totally like we were coming into our new selves, the selves that we've been working on. the part of us that we have been, that we're creating, that we are, but it isn't, it's weird because it's not just like creating, but it is creating because it is coming into touch with yourself. But just like me starting to do this is a whole creation, starting to create, to put myself out there, to, start creating content. And so I'm creating this aspect of myself that wasn't there before. But then I'm also coming into this realization who myself is. Like there's so much that holds us back from ourselves, like all these parts of yourself that you don't get to see. So then as you go through them, it like activates parts of you that were stagnant, that were just dormant, that weren't there. And so then you get this opportunity to grow into who you really are meant to be, into who you really are, and become this transformation of who you meant to be. And we all get to transform ourselves into who we want to be, who we think that we are, and how we see ourselves. And to me, mine is always, I've got this strong guidance, these strong, them talking and telling me, shit all the time. um hey, Joyce. And yeah, with no help. But I mean, it is. There's so much time where I feel like we truly are the explorers. We truly are the pioneers. The ones who, they told us that this world wasn't real. This spiritual thing wasn't real. It was all made up. It was fake. It was phony. And then, any of us who were going out and pursuing that part of ourselves, it was the great unknown. It was the part that they tried to keep us away from. They wanted to wall us, just like how they have everything in walls. They want to wall up our minds. They want to keep us so contained so that we don't get to go out and find out, our truth, our essence, our abilities, and, how really crazy and transformative that we really are. Like we really are, there really is a good reason why they should fear us. Like we are so much more than what they are. They are, I mean, ugh, they're dependent on blood and stuff. Like I don't know, they are not, like their spiritual side is dependent on rituals and stuff. Like I don't know, it is, it's like they're feeding an energetic negative god thing that they create for themselves. Like I don't know about all this Moloch and all this shit, but whatever it is, they're putting all their energy into something that's so negative. And I think that humans are so just so much better. It's like I don't know. I don't even know what these people are. Like I don't think that they're I don't think that they're all human. I don't know if they're all reptiles. I don't know if they're all shapeshifters. I mean, the reptiles are vampires for sure. So, and I think, I mean, when David Icke said that the royal family was all reptilians, then it makes you think, well, fuck. And you would think those goddamn Rockefellers and Rothschilds and shit are. Probably fucking J.P. Morgan is. I mean, if fucking Jay-Z and Beyonce are. And I just saw a thing too that Jay-Z and P. Diddy are a couple. And that Beyonce, that is all a front. That he's really in a and I'm pretty sure it's P. Diddy. And then Diddy is trying to say some stuff, and they're like talking back and forth in some songs or something. Like I don't even know. Like this world is so like, why can't people just be themselves? Why if you are a gay rapper, why don't you just go and just be a gay rapper? Why you got to try and pretend like you're something else? And the same thing with Will Smith. Like Will Smith, like he is I don't remember. Like he's got a bunch of weird shit about his stuff, sex stuff. I mean, there's even a video of him like French kissing his kid. Um, but they're like, I mean, Quincy Jones, in the music industry, like he was getting all these young boys when they were young, and but I don't know. There's something weird with Will Smith, Like if he has some relationship and then what's her name is just his cover up person. I don't get why, because that was the same thing they said about John Travolta, Richard Gere. Like, I don't get, but then you got Michelle Obama, you know, I mean, she's the queen of illusion. Like, you're out here trying to be all LGBTQ friendly, but you're the biggest phony and fake that there is. Like, oh my God, why wouldn't you, if you be their front runner, why wouldn't you be their poster child? And you just lie about everything. It's just weird. This world is so full of just liars. I mean, when you've got a world full of liars, then who can go around lying and feel settled? Like there's so much energy out here, you know, that is just so, it is so stormy. And we've got so many liars and so much stormy energy, so much friction between people, so much lies and deceit. So all this purging, all of it coming up to the front to see it, to witness it in the, you know, forefront or whatever, and then to release it, to just let all of this stuff released. That is going to be, it all goes with that whole thing, with the wall going down and the energy, the everything switching. It's all micro macro. Like I don't see how people can't see this spiritual stuff. Like I can't. I mean, I can see where people. I can't see where people can be all hung up on religion. Like I don't understand that. Because to me, it's like, why isn't your soul telling you that this is some bullshit? Like, what is going on? There seems like such a disconnect. But then, but the spiritual thing, like that to me, like your soul, you're here having an experience to see what it's like to be human, so you can learn. But everything that you are is your soul. Everything about us is our soul. So to me, that's, you know, wherever uh, your path leads you to your understanding of your soul, that seems like a pretty, smart way to go. Smart way to work on yourself. And the other way is just, well, the book says, that just doesn't make any sense to me. But I can't quit thinking about food. Now I'm just hungry. Um, I will come again tomorrow, though. Hopefully, some of you guys who came in later can come earlier. But I could do this later. Like, if this time is better to start later, I can always start later, too. And then, everybody can chat and stuff. Because I do like to get, even though we don't get to see each other in person, it's still like, oh, hi. It's exciting. Um, let's see what. They are blocked by ego. Yep. That is for sure. Oh, okay. If you want to come to a live, Tyrone, I can come. I can start it later. The ego blocks the soul, I think. Yeah, well, the ego definitely causes, it runs interference on the soul. Definitely is. The soul has to go through certain checks or something. Okay, but you can get to the soul, like any of us who go and listen to our soul and listen to our guides and stuff. No, you can get there. I don't know what blocks all these people. I don't know why they can't get there, how it is. And it's ego, but it's also this fear of not being accepted. It's just so much of just like, well, I don't want to look into that. Everybody thinks that's weird. Everybody thinks that's crazy. So I don't want to look into that. I don't want, you know. So they worry too much. That's how they can control the people so much. And that's why they can use people to police other people and hurt people's feelings and stuff. That's even a part of our whole thing right now, our whole structured societal control, hurting people's feelings, knocking them down, keeping them in their place. It's so, how is that a good society, a good productive society where people feel good? I think we all have come to the realization that, nobody's feeling good and we all want to feel good. And we have got to be making changes to feel good. This world that was created for us is toxic as fuck. But I am hungry. I do want to go eat. But I am really excited that you got to come, Tyrone. And people are so programmed. I'm really curious about this when this switch happens. And the people who are so asleep right now, the ones that are so programmed, I'm really curious to see, like when they start talking about their experience, what it is like for them, what it was like when they started seeing, because they're so deeply programmed. And they've all had so many of us trying to tell them things, and then they can't get it in there. They can't, it doesn't absorb. And so, what is that going to be like when all of a sudden they see? And there's going to be so much. I think it's going to be so overwhelming. It is going to be like the collective existential crisis. It's going to be intense, I think. I think it's going to be so intense. But, oh yeah, we are the same vibration. I love hearing someone else that I feel. That's the thing is like I say this stuff, but then, yeah, we all feel the same way. So we are all on the same vibration. Thank God. Fuck. Like God, if we didn't have people who were on the same vibration as us who could see, like, oh my gosh. I mean, it is hard when you're going through this stuff. Yeah, it is very hard. So I don't, I completely have empathy for all the people going through it. That's for sure. Um, yeah, egos block consciousness. Yeah, they do. It is, but it's kind of like, because like how they say ego death, you got to do the shadow work and stuff. But it is kind of like it's kind of like a lion tamer. It's kind of like you go into the cage with your ego and you tame it. You just get it to like start purring like a kitten. You start getting to control it. You start getting it to follow commands. It is so much like that. That's funny. It is very much like a lion trainer, because you can't kill your ego. It's going to still be there. It has a purpose, it has a place, but you do have to train it. You do have to you have to notice what it's doing, the part it's playing. And and so many people are so caught up in ego, so caught up in shit, and they have no idea. I think religion is a huge ego thing, because they're all so like, I mean, for them to say, like, you don't believe in their God, then you don't believe in God. Like, that is over the top. Seriously. I mean, and how many times I've been told, well, you're talking to the devil. It's so strange. Yeah, egos block consciousness. Yeah, put it in check. Yeah, yeah, it is so much if we can, once you can understand what your ego is doing, and you can let it have its place, but you can see it's just so weird too, as all this stuff goes down, when people become so transparent. You can see how inflated some people's egos are. You can see how they are so trapped by ego and stuff. That's why this has to go down. These things have to happen. Like the people, even if they're going to go through hard things, once they get through it, they're going to be so happy. They're going to be so happy they did, because it's going to be such a release, letting go of, and getting a better control of their lives, not being just consumed by their own egos and misled and misdirected and all that. Okay, now Stella is ragging at me too. But anyways, I'll come tomorrow. Drop me a time. You guys all tell me a time, because my time's pretty open. I'm not doing a lot. I'm just waiting for the next thing to happen. Whatever's next that's what's, so I'm just kind of hanging out here to see what's going to go down next. But because I could always come back later, probably. I don't know. I could probably come back after I eat, take a break. One of the guys I used to listen to, and he was at the January 6th thing. He even did get arrested and stuff, but I used to go on his live things, and he was so cool. I used to really like to go to his, and he would always just sit there and smoke out, and he'd have all these people that, and then they would have a whole call. They'd have a bunch of people, and everybody on all of the calls, on all the live thing, they'd all be like smoking and talking about stuff in the world and how crazy it was. And then, I think he'd go take a break and then he'd come back. He'd be like all day. And you could always go and tune in. And he did some documentaries too. He has a documentary probably a lot of people have seen. I can't remember what it's called. It was Pedo World, I think. I can't think of his name. But anyways, he was a cool guy. I really liked his life. So, Joyce, morning is good for you. You feel so light right now? I'm glad you feel light. I feel light too. I feel good. I feel really good. Like I feel really excited. Thanks you guys for your energy. Like thanks for being people who are, you know, take their roles in the world serious. Like Stella, she's like, okay, enough's enough. Okay, you guys, I'll talk to you later. Talk to you later. Bye.